I wanted to go over the 1099 OID with you guys. I wanted to talk about, what is a decedent, what is a guarantor, what is the taxpayer, the OID. Some of you guys have concerns about going to jail and frivolous filings. And so I wanted to touch on those subjects for you guys briefly. So I made a short template. Also, we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to listen to Patrick, and I'm going to let you listen to him talk, and then I'm going to pause it, and then I'm going to explain it to you in my own words, and hopefully it makes sense to you. Okay. So understanding the account is the title. Some of you all have a difficult time understanding what a decedent is. Okay. A decedent, I know the IRS says that, hey, you open an estate when someone passes away, and that is accurate, but a decedent does not only refer to a natural person. An account can be a decedent, because it's non-living. Okay. It's just a name on an account. It does not have a consciousness. It does not breathe. It can't walk. It can't talk, okay? But for years, we have given life to these accounts unknowingly, okay? We have invested, we have placed our money into these accounts unknowingly. So I want to start off by explaining what is a decedent, okay? When a financial account holder passes away, the account itself can be considered a decedent. So you must understand that we are not the account holders, okay? I want you all to, on your own, to go and look up what an account holder is. Okay, so some of you guys saw me, I showed you a copy of one of my utility bills, okay? And that name on that utility bill, my Christina M. Wilson, that is my decedent. Okay, what makes it a decedent is that it's being held by Reliant. Reliant is a corporation. A corporation does not have a consciousness. It cannot walk. It cannot talk. Therefore, it meets the definition of a decedent. Okay, if that makes sense. The accounts include decedent accounts can be a bank account, a checkings account, a savings account, a certificates of deposit, investment account, brokerage account, mutual funds, retirement accounts, insurance policies, annuities, and other policies. Okay. Financial accounts such as bank accounts, investment portfolios, or retirement funds are indeed non-living entities. They do not have a consciousness or a physical existence. These non living entities are held by corporations, which are also non living. So that is how your all capital name, that's why it's considered a decedent. These accounts are holding all of the principal and interest that you have ever paid your entire life. All of that money is just sitting in those accounts. The reason being, okay, is when we go to these corporations, okay, and let's say we go to the utility company. Let's use Reliant. Okay, everyone has seen my Reliant utility bill. When I went to Reliant, I chartered an account using the Social Security number or my driver's license. Some of you guys open your utility account with your Social Security number. Some of you open it with your driver's license. It does not matter which of those you use, they're all tied to the social security number. Okay. So we chartered an account. I chartered an account with Reliant. Okay. And so I funded that account immediately because my decedent, okay, that name on the account is my decedent. It is a derivative. It is a share of me. It is a byproduct of me. That decedent is, it's non-living. Okay. So the moment I open an account with Reliant, okay, Reliant is now able to go to the insurance companies. Okay. Everything in this country is about insurance. So, what these companies do is that they get us to subscribe to their company. They say, hey, we can give you utility. We can give you electricity. We can give you water. We can give you a cell phone service, internet service. Okay. So they offer these services to you, but you have to open an account with them, and that account has your name on it. Okay. The part that is so difficult for you guys to understand is that Reliant cannot do anything regarding that account. They are not here to offer you any type of banking service. Their job is to get you to pay as much money into that account as they can get you to pay. Okay. They want you to uh, pay money into that account with your name on it because they get to write insurance, they get to request insurance policies. Okay. You know how they say, with like life insurance, right? And with life insurance, and I always thought that life insurance was a scam because I'm like, well, shit, I got to wait till I die to get this money. Okay. And so if you understand what I'm saying, since everything is dead, they can get the insurance money right now. That's how the game is played. Okay. And so, like, even with the utility company, the mortgage company, the auto loan company, okay, their job is to get you to pay as much money into that account because they are operating as a holdings company. Okay. They are a stockholder. I call them slave holders. Okay, these are corporate account holders, slave holders, because we have been tricked or hoodwinked into thinking that the account was us, that we were the account when we are not the account. We are the controllers of the account. Okay. And so they want as many people to subscribe. So Reliant wants to get as many customers as they can to come and open accounts with them because now let's say if they get 1 million customers, okay, and now they have placed smart meters on everyone's home because this shit does not work unless they are able to use some sort of threat or intimidation. Okay, I'll turn your lights off if you don't pay it. Okay, I'll turn your water off if I'm coming to take that car from you if you don't pay it. Okay, so they had to add an element of threat or coercion to force us into pledging continuously voluntarily paying money into these accounts because the bigger the account gets, the more that they can take out in insurance policies. So for example, with Reliant Energy, let's say Reliant had 1 million customers, okay, and those customers have been with Reliant since they opened. Let's say they opened in the early 2000s. So there is 24 years of interest and principal that has accumulated within those accounts over the years because people unknowingly not understanding banking, they don't understand generally accepted accounting principles, which is GAAP. Okay, none of this was taught to us because the common person does not understand banking. We didn't understand how to set off these accounts, how to discharge that indebtedness so that we did not have to continue paying our time and labor into these accounts. And so what they do is they need us to put money into the account. So every year, these accounts get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, like, let's say the year before, they had 1 million clients, and altogether, those 1 million accounts are valued at $1 billion. So that means that everyone with a Reliant account, who has an account with Reliant cannot go into those accounts physically. They cannot, and they will never do that. Okay, because that would constitute obvious fraud. Okay, so they will never go into the account. They can't do anything regarding the money in those accounts except threaten us to paying more money into the account. So every year they when I say they, I mean the shareholders of Reliant, okay, the owners of Reliant, and it's a small few a number of people. I know you guys have heard that before, that the swamp, okay, the swamp is these corporations have shareholders, okay, and they operate in a way that benefits them but hurts the majority. Okay. And so that is the game. That all of this is about insurance. It is about insurance policies. Okay. With insurance policies, you can take out these shareholders of companies like Reliant or Ally Bank or Capital One. Okay. They can take out crazy amounts of insurance policies, but in order to keep that steady flow, okay, they take these loans. They can take loans out against our accounts, but the only way to ensure that either they can take bigger loans out whenever they want or every year, they have to find a way to get us to continue paying money into those accounts, if that makes sense. Okay. So the account itself with your name on it is called a guarantor. Okay. It is a guarantor. It guarantees payment for services rendered, which would be okay. Reliant Energy stated that they give me electricity, which we know is a lie from hell. They don't. Okay. They are just a middleman, but they are a holdings company. Okay. So I hope that makes sense as to what all this insurance mumbo jumbo is going on. It's death insurance. That is what they are after. They're not necessarily after the accounts, okay, but they need a steady flow, a steady streams of income. And the way that they get that is by getting us to subscribe to their corporation, and based on how the total value of assets, meaning the total value of all the accounts that Reliant Energy holds, dictates how much in loans and insurance policies that these shareholders can take out against our accounts. Okay. Okay. So, how did corporations develop a consciousness? One of the questions I used to ask myself, right, like when I was a kid, I grew up Baptist. And so I would ask the question, and this question has never been answered in the Bible. One of my questions was, why would God create something to oppose him? Like, why, if he knew that Lucifer would rebel, okay, one of his children, and one of his dependents, okay, so to speak. If he knew that this would happen, why would God create something that opposes him? Okay, and if it opposed him, like if Lucifer, is causing all of this trouble for God and his children, why doesn't he just kill Lucifer? Like that's one of the questions. A similar We found ourselves in a similar dilemma because we gave birth to the corporations. Okay, we created them to make our lives easier and more comfortable and happier. Okay, like you guys know that I'm a veteran. They gave me like a bunch of benefits, and this was always supposed to be the function of the corporations, right? They were supposed to, they are dead. The dead was supposed to support us, the living, but the opposite, everything is now turned upside down. So the opposite is taking place. All right. So, how did corporations develop a consciousness? Insurance is a contract represented by a policy in which a policy holder receives financial protection or reimbursement against losses from an insurance company. Okay. Insurance companies began to influence Congress and the U.S. Code, specifically Title 15, Chapter 93. Now, I do not get into codes. Codes is not something that you hear me talk about a lot, because if you understand what a code is, would you agree that nature has a code? Okay, that's a natural code, but the U.S. code governs corporations. It tells a corporation how to make its arm move, how to make its neck turn, okay, how to move a foot. Okay, that is what code is. Like binary code, like even with my kids for like homeschooling purposes, I placed my kids in like this robotics class because I wanted to introduce them to coding. And so one of the lessons, we got like this little robot, and the computer says, hey, Type in these particular letters. They call it a binary code. Type in these particular letters and symbols, and you can get the robot to do whatever you want it to do. The US code is supposed to function that way. It is supposed to be the code that governs the behavior of corporations. But of course, with all this confusion, you got, the people who they can't tell the difference between the corporations and any other entities. They don't know, like, for example, when you guys go to what's a famous place that we go to a lot? When you go into Hobby Lobby, did you know that you were entering China? Or when you signed up with your phone service with T-Mobile, did you know you were doing business with Germany? That T-Mobile is a German owned company. And so, what happened over the years is that, Americans, it has become difficult for Americans not only to identify corporate entities, but to identify foreign ones, because there is no big flag, okay, on T-Mobile. When you go into T-Mobile, there is no German flag there to say, hey, you're about to do business in Deutsch. Nothing says that. Okay, and so we don't really know, for one, what rules are these corporations supposed, or codes these corporations should follow. Okay, and what country is it that we're doing business with? Okay, who are you? Who is your owner or your controller? Think of the US code as a type of binary code for a computer. It governs the way the business behaves. Most companies are operating as holding companies. But what are they holding? If you go and look up, and I'm not going to do this for you, I want you to go look up what is the legal name of PayPal. And then you'll be surprised that PayPal is a holdings company. Okay. Reliant Energy. Go and look it up. Reliant is a utility company here in Texas. And you will find out that Reliant's legal name is Reliant Holdings. Okay, because they are holding all of our accounts. They are holding those accounts, and they are utilizing the credits in those accounts to take out loans or insurance policies. Okay, so that is their job. Their job is to get people to subscribe so that they can take out loans and insurance policies against those assets that they are holding. A holding company. A holding company is a business entity, usually a corporation or limited liability company, that primarily exists to own and control other companies. That is their job. We are all companies. We are all our own organizations, okay? Our own estates. We're our own government unto ourselves. And so the job of a holding company, okay, is to get you to subscribe so that now they can control you. They can control what you do. We said that the bill is $200. And if you don't put $200 in this account, I'm turning those lights off. I'm going to turn that water off. I'm going to come and foreclose on that house. If you don't put that money into this account, it's kind of like it's holding a gun to your head, making you do it, because there is force. In a lot of time, in a lot of these cases, there is force happening behind what is driving us, or the question that some people have is like, why can't I just stop paying? Because you're being threatened, intimidated, and coerced into doing so. Because, like, think of, like, slavery, like, in some cases, why were they carrying out their duties? In some cases, the slaves performed, and I'm not using slavery to, like, rule out a particular group or a group of people. You guys know my philosophy on slavery. It was practiced all over the world. Okay, but the reason that the slaves performed was because they feared some form of punishment, and the same is happening to us. We are on a corporate plantation. Okay, but the good news is that there is a way to get off of it and to gain control over the plantation. That was something that most of the slaves did not realize, that, hey, we outnumber these people like shit, like 20 to 1. You know what I mean? Like, we can overthrow them and take over the plantation if we want it. Like, we can burn the whole thing down if we want it. Okay? But out of fear, you know what I mean? Out of fear, we don't rebel against these corporations, because in a way it's like I want you to exist, like, okay, but I want you to benefit me. Okay, so that's the dilemma that we're faced with here. A holding company typically doesn't manufacture products or provide services directly. I just said this to you. I told you that Reliant or ComEd or whatever utility company or water company you're doing business with, they are not providing you with anything. Okay, that account is yours and yours alone. So whatever happens to it is on you. You have to balance that account. Okay, you have to make sure that that account is balanced to zero. Okay, and that is how you balance an account. Any account that carries a balance, okay, that account needs to be balanced, meaning those credits need to be deducted from that account in order to bring it to zero. A holdings, it should be holdings company. A holdings company typically doesn't manufacture products or provide services directly. Instead, it focuses on holding, controlling stock in other companies, and that's what they're doing. They're controlling us. Okay, these are the foreign banking controls for anybody that's followed, Patrick. These are the foreign banking controls that he's talking about. Its primary function is to own and manage assets such as real estate, stocks, patents, trademarks, and other valuable holdings. In summary, a holdings company serves as an umbrella organization. Okay, an umbrella just keeps you from getting wet, does it not? So that's a type of insurance. These are all insurance companies. Okay. In summary, a holdings company serves as an umbrella organization that controls other companies, protects itself from losses, and strategically manages its assets. Do you guys remember, like, the movie Resident Evil? What was the name of that corporation that was responsible for the outbreak? It was named the Umbrella Corporation. It was an insurance company that was doing this. Okay, so like Patrick always says, like, no, these movies have been telling us a lot about what's going on out here in commerce. Okay, so the social security number is used to mark the location of where the public trust was established. Okay, so throughout our lives, we have issued this social security number and opened accounts just about everywhere. Okay, we everywhere we have went, we have opened. Hey, you want to open an account? Facebook. Hey, you want to open an account? Instagram. Hey, you want to open an account? When you use a Uber is an insurance company, a holdings company. Okay, because what you have to do, even if you are a driver or a passenger, you have to have an account. So all of the money that we're paying into these accounts are similar to like thrift accounts, like retirement accounts. Okay, I've said before that these corporations are thrifts. They are not banks. We are the banks. They are thrifts. And what makes them thrifts is that once we open an account with them, we continuously pay money into those accounts. And those accounts were supposed to support us. Like, once we got older or if we needed something, okay, those accounts were there for our benefit. But now, the money changers got a taste of that insurance money and taking out loans against other people's shit and assets, that now they want to keep us in uh, a state of servitude where we continuously pay money into these accounts. Okay, and so over throughout my lifetime, the primary account name that I have used is Christina M. Wilson. So that ushers me into the 1099 OID. But before I get to the OID, I want you to listen to Patrick talk and listen to what he says about these accounts. Okay, listen closely.
Okay, everybody listen up. On this stamp that I made up, okay, you don't even have to do it, okay? You can go and get a red magic marker or whatever, right, and write it in red. First line, guarantor, okay? That's the name that's on that uh, Biddle. He's the guarantor. You gave a signature letter of credit when you signed up with them. So you gave the credits. You gave the credits over to this fictional person under a fraudulent assignment. So the bank or whoever basically assigned this fictional person to hold the credits because they're in there to try and operate for profit and for hire. You haven't directly released the credits like when you went and got the mortgage. You basically transferred the credits right there on the spot over to the bank. But they didn't want it that way. They wanted to basically be able to use those credits as collateral and make an additional profit off of them. They didn't want you to pay for the thing right away. All you had to do on that mortgage was to release the credits from your guarantor. See, there's two signatures on a mortgage. One, you're signing for the fictional person, but you're not releasing the credits from him over to the bank.
Right.
That's all you didn't do, okay? You were the original assignor. Now you assign those to your fictional person, the assignee. Now he becomes the assignor to allow the bank to use that, who now becomes the assignee of those credits. But they also are coming in and claiming to be the beneficial owner so that they have a beneficial interest in the usage of those credits for their benefit. We're not the beneficiary in any of this shit. That's why we owe no taxes. Because we're not a beneficiary. It's of no benefit to us. We've been hoodwinked in the damn process. But we're the source of all credits out here. Whether they come from our treasury account or whether they come from our back pocket. The corporations can't go into the treasury and pull credits out. They have to get us to do that for them. Because this is the people's treasury, not the corporation's treasury. Even the government can't do that. They have to get us under a voter registration. We don't need a voter registration card to be able to go down there and vote. We have that right, and there's nothing in the damn Constitution or any of the amendments that say we've got to have a voter registration card. That's for their usage to basically turn around and set up this fraudulent assignment in the process. Therefore, we're releasing our credits over to our fictional person. Then they can use them as collateral because our fictional person hasn't released the credits over to them. That's what I'm saying. You have to know what these words, and there's more words. Basically, the gist of it now is down to those 3 pages. When you understand what I've got on those 3 pages, you've got one hell of a powerful document.
Okay. The account is responsible for paying the taxes. It is a taxpayer to you. So for everyone sending me your inquiries about, hey, I heard this person went to jail, I'm scared, okay, I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say to make you not scared, but what I suggest is that if you don't understand, that you not send, even if you purchase the borrow from yourself, okay? Take a moment, read over the instructions, pray about it, meditate, sleep on it. Okay, if you have you have reservations or you're concerned about moving forward until you get a better I don't know how to give you the understanding. Okay, I've provided you with the information to put you on the right path to what you need to be doing, how you can utilize your taxpayer. Okay, but I can't understand it for you. And some of you get angry with me because you don't understand it. And you want me to like break myself to figure out how to make me understand. And I can't. I'm sorry. Okay, so if you look at the screen, okay, this is the packet, my 1041 packet that I sent to Allie. This person here, okay, she is holding the principal and interest to every account I have ever created in my life. The IRS knows every account I have ever opened in my entire life, and that account is holding all of my principal and interest. She is holding it and I want it. Okay. So I opened up my estate. Okay. I appointed my fiduciary, which is the executor of my estate. I appointed them as fiduciary over that taxpayer. Okay. Because I'm sending my fiduciary to my taxpayer. Okay. Who I chartered away. I chartered this taxpayer and it's in multiple places, but all of these accounts, every account that I've ever opened up in my life is under this name and this my social security number, and the IRS knows it. The IRS knows every account that I've ever opened, and they know how much money I put into these accounts. And I'm 37. I've paid a lot of money into a lot of accounts. Like Patrick says, you got more accounts out here than you can shake a stick at. God rest that man's soul. May God rest him. Okay. And so, with this giving notice, when you come to me and you say, oh, I'm scared because I heard these people were convicted, that's because they didn't know that they were not the account. They did not know how to say, oh, hold on, wait a minute, there's a problem here, baby. I'm a foreign person. You're talking about a public person, a decedent, and you give them the name and the social security number. That entity is not me. Okay, that is an account. Okay, that is a decedent account. And I am duly authorized to act on behalf of that account, but you will not charge me as if I am an account. You have to know to say that. You have to know that. So I don't know. When you come and tell me these horror stories, really with some of y'all, I just can move on to the next email because I can't, there is nothing I can do about your fears. I mean, you sound like my kids. That mommy, we think it's something under the bed. No, you're an adult. And now I understand why, why the corporation treat us like this. Like we're babies. All we do is complain. I am the bondholder. Okay? I am the bondholder. That Social Security is a bond. It is a bond between this entity and my estate. Okay? My estate, once I declare this decedent, this person is deceased. Okay? I won't be opening up any new accounts under this person's name anymore. Okay? This taxpayer, but she is holding about 20 years worth of my money. When I sent a OID into the IRS for this value, okay, what I did not realize, okay, was that I instructed the IRS that, hey, listen, this is my taxpayer. See where it says payer? She is holding $35,137 from me. I want this money to be able to facilitate or initiate a transaction with Ali Bank. Okay? I converted this OID into a check to tell the IRS that she is holding my principal and interest. It says federal income tax withheld. She's withholding from me. I don't know a better way to get you guys to explain that. She is holding, there are 20 years of plus years of accounts held under her. She that guarantor this account. That's why I killed her. I killed her off. No, you holding all of my stuff and I'm constantly paying more and more money into these accounts. No, I am terminating you. Okay. And then I'm going to resurrect this social security person as my executor. My executor is now holding that social security number. Okay, so everything that she had accumulated in her life goes to my executor, who on your 1041, if you bought the borrow from yourself, on the 1041, the recipient is either you or your private bank. You should not be putting the corporations here. They were not the recipients of any money that you have ever put out in commerce. It is your taxpayer that is holding the money. They are always going to be the payer. That taxpayer is holding the funds. Okay. So again, when I completed this OID, I had the wrong understanding when doing it. I thought that I was reporting to the IRS that, hey, I uh, there was a transaction between myself and Ali Bank that took place. Okay, I have paid them $35,000. Okay, and I want that money back. That's what the 1041 voucher does. Okay, the 1041 voucher, see that negative? You know how I tell you that you want to send your voucher or your remittance, can you turn that into a negative value so that you can debit the funds out of the account? So I turned this 1041 voucher, I used it the same way that we would use a debit card to tell the IRS that, listen, she is withholding from me. Okay, but once this money is sent to me, I am going to be facilitating a transaction with Ali Bank. That's what I was saying to the IRS, which was wrong. Okay, when I got that 35 grand back, I didn't go to Ali Bank. For what? I had bought the car from them 6 years prior. So on the OIDs, you guys keep asking me, like, should I put myself as the payer and put the utility company as the recipient? No, because the utility company did not receive it. Your taxpayer did. This entity received the funds. The holder of the account just so happens to be Reliant. That is nothing more than a warehouse. Okay, it is an account holder, and yes, it is a corporation. So by definition, it is a decedent, and so is this account. So on your 1099 OIDs, what you're saying when you're borrowing from your assets, which is why I say to be reasonable, because some of you are really young. You know, I've had people that were born in like 2001 reaching out to me like, how much can I borrow? Okay, that is where my knowledge is limited. As far as my understanding goes, we have the full faith and credit. Okay, we have the full faith and credit. But just to err on the side of caution, I want you to be reasonable in the amounts that you're taking out. If you need a house, okay, a car, a few dollars to start a business so that you can, convert your labor, sell your labor to make money so you don't have to use these crazy credit systems and set up accounts, holdings accounts with these corporations who are going to employ unfair practices, business practices against you in order to gain an advantage. This account number down here is random. Okay, let me explain to you why the account number is random. It is a totally random account number. If you read the form, it says that the account number is whatever number the payer came up with to identify the account. Okay, so I just came up with a random number. Originally, I was going to file the 1099 OID online, but the 1099 OID online, it auto populates numbers based on, so like once I enter the 35,000, the online system will populate this area and it will populate that area, and I did not want it to do that. And even when I tried to go back and change it or fix it, it would not, it just wouldn't. To place it continued to place values in these boxes, okay, that I did not want to fill out. The only two boxes that I filled out was the first original issue discount for the year, okay, and I filled out federal income tax withheld. It is withholding from me. That account, that is my taxpayer. It is a debtor to me. It owes me, not me, the living person, because I'm holding a controller. Okay. I'm just pressing the buttons and making these my fictions do what I want it to do. Okay. So my fiduciary is my executor. My executor is responsible for managing the assets that my public banker, that my taxpayer, all the accounts that she is holding um throughout my life, all these accounts that I have opened up throughout my life. Okay, she's holding all the principal and interest. So when people say, "Oh, you can only pay the money that you paid out of your back pocket," that is false. Okay, because like for your car, you signed a promissory note. Okay, the value of that promissory note was deposited into the account with Ally Bank. So that account starting out was already, I think the total value for the promissory note was like $27,000 and some change. So Ally had went ahead and put that $27,000 into an account with my taxpayer's name on it. Okay, but Allie didn't can't go into that account. They could not balance it. They can't set it off. They can't deduct anything from it. They cannot do anything with that account. Okay, so what they are wanting, okay, is they need to take a loan, an insurance loan, and in order to take loans, you need collateral. And what we did not understand is that we were pledging our collaterals to them, okay, in their endeavors. And so now they hoodwinked us, like you heard Patrick say, they tricked us into this arrangement as to where now we have to continuously pay money into this account, or they are threatening to, repossess our cars or our houses in order to satisfy this so-called debt that we owe to the account. Okay, so this number was totally random. In the 1099 online, they actually it created a number for me. So I just kept that number and I transferred it to my 1099 OID. Okay, a pay to the order is me converting this into a check with this person as the bank. Cause she holding all my stuff. This is my taxpayer. She's a debtor to me. And so because had I not attached a 1041 voucher, the payment would have went to Allie. Okay, so the OID was stating that yes, this taxpayer is withholding from me. This federal entity, okay? This federal, I guess we can call it an employee, but it's an employee of ours. That's why we set up an estate, a private bank. It's our employee. She works for me, which is why we submit the fiduciary forms to give notice that we're going to be doing these things with sending in certain forms to the IRS in order to get a return. There is nothing frivolous about what I'm doing. There is nothing fraudulent about what I'm doing. I can explain what I'm doing. I can defend what I'm doing. And actually, this is an internal issue. It's internal. It's between me and my account. It's not between the IRS. The IRS can't come in as an external entity and say, oh, you're committing fraud on your own account. I mean, come on, man. It takes rocket science for you to know that this is the game that they're playing. Even the IRS, the holders, the shareholders of the IRS is an insurance company. So they really don't want us taking, snatching all of our money out of the corporate department of the treasury, because we are the de jure treasury. So they don't want us snatching all of our funds out of these accounts. So they do little shit like this, like they threaten us. Oh, I'm going to give you a frivolous filing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Okay, to turn you away, to stop you from taking that money away from them. Because if you do that, now they have no collateral to pledge for their insurance loans. And we can kill off these insurance bankers like overnight. So understand that if you do get a frivolous filing, I mean, it's expected. You think they just go lay down and not try to scare you off or not try to intimidate you? I had an IRS agent when I called the set up one of the foreign grantors, and the IRS was telling me that, hey, we've gotten an influx of calls from people who are refusing to provide us their American social security number. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, the social security number isn't American. Where do you see anything that says America on the social security administration? The Social Security Administration is foreign. So that's when I knew that this lady just didn't know what the hell she was talking about. And so she tells me, like, oh, well, inform your client that it's a felony to call and set up an entity and not provide your social security number. This is what they're training the IRS agents to do. And I told her, don't threaten me. Don't threaten me or my client. Me and my client are foreign persons. Unless you have evidence to suggest otherwise, I suggest to you that you watch your mouth and you watch what you say. As a matter of fact, give me your agent number, because I might have to pull you into an international court for threats and intimidation. Don't play with me. And she changed her tune after I said it to her like that. Don't threaten me. Don't threaten my client or slander my client by saying that we're lying, because then I'm going to make you prove it. And when you can't prove it, you owe me money. And not only do you owe me, you owe my client. And she shut her ass up and she continued processing that foreign grant. I didn't call you for legal advice. I didn't call you for legal advice, and I didn't call you and ask you to threaten me. Okay? So you'll meet personalities. You'll meet people like this. You'll run into people like this, and you have to defend yourself against these type of people. Okay? Because unfortunately, the lady didn't know no better. She really thinks the IRS is administrative. They don't have any, they're not a judicial branch. You can't impose any punishment. A fine is a punishment. That is a bill of attainder. You can't write no bills of attainders against me. Are y'all crazy? There is nothing fraudulent about sending in your OID, okay, that your taxpayer is withholding from you. It is. You have a trust, a non-obligatory arrangement, and that taxpayer is withholding from you. And nothing you did was fraud. Fraud is when you conceal something. How the hell am I concealing something from you when I gave you a 56 witches notice and I told you everything I was going to be, all the forms I was going to be sending in to you? How is this fraud? Fraud would be I would try to hide it from you. I was omitting information. And while you're busy sending me frivolous filings, why are you in my business? When did I give you permission to go into my account to look at anything? What's your name and your agent number? In case I need to bring charges against you because you're acting outside the scope of your authority. Okay, so even when you like using a Uber, when you get into Uber, okay, that money that you paid, that or eight, $10, maybe $12 to go from point A to point B, that money didn't go to Uber. That money went to an account in your name that Uber is holding. So that Uber can turn around and go write insurance policies against everyone who has an Uber account and who pays money into these accounts. But Uber cannot go into these accounts and touch that money. They can't. That's just all I wanted to go over with you guys with this OID. Oh, people are getting in trouble. Oh, okay, well, just don't send it. Okay, some of you guys have already done 1040s for the 2023 tax year. I do not recommend sending in another 1040. I don't recommend it. I would, if I were you, I would just go ahead and open up an estate and file a 1041 packet as opposed to filing a 1040. If you've already filed a 2023 1040 for the year, leave it alone. You're already confused. No, you cannot do this as a joint couple. For people, married people are reaching out to me. This is called individual banker. Even if you're married, I'm married. Me and my husband, okay, yeah, we share things, but that's private. In terms of going into the public and not a public trust, but yeah, I guess it is. I guess we can refer to it as a public trust, that social security number. But in terms of borrowing from our own trust assets, you're an individual in that. Rewind the video, listen to it a couple of times so that you can understand the 1041 packet is safe. Okay, you have your fiduciary, you got your 1041 voucher in there. You're sending your packet to where the 1041. Let me address that really quickly because even though I put it in the ebook, some of you guys were still concerned like, well, where do I send everything? Yes, you do. The reason for that is because the OID was turned into a check. Okay, so if you read the 1041 on the back of it, okay, it says if you are enclosing a check, please send the check along with your 1041 voucher to this address. So you're going to send the entire packet to the address to where the 1041V says to send your packet because the OID is the check and the 1096 in order to transmit the information from your OID you need to also attach a 1096. So you can't send the 1096 to where these addresses, it would not apply. You have to send it to where the 1041 voucher says to send it. And so I just sent my entire packet there. I sent the 56s, I sent the 1041, I sent the 1041 voucher, I sent the 1099 OID, and it took them about 3 weeks. I'm in Texas. Okay, I didn't even use a foreign. Okay, I just try to keep it simple for you guys. Just use the address that corresponds with the state that you live in. Okay, for me, I think it was Ogden, Utah, for Texas. Okay, so I just sent it to the Ogden, Utah IRS and on the where the 1041 voucher for the address. I sent it to the address on the 1041 voucher. The entire packet. Okay. Okay, now I'm done.